Hello.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah.
Okay now.
Yeah.
Is it working?
Yeah.
It's working now?
It's recording. Yeah. Perfect.
Cool. Okay.
Thank you.
Start.
Rolling.
Yeah. Hi Tom.
Hi.
Can you just tell me about yourself and what kind of work do you do with multimedia journalism?
Yeah. Well, the work that we do is very varied, and in any one day we could be doing, 5 or 6 different jobs. But we would normally, we need to be able to film, we need to be able to edit, we need to be able to write scripts and perform voiceovers, and we also have to do lots of graphics work and almost HTML coding and compressing a video and all that kind of stuff. So if you were to write down the job description, which we've just done because we're hiring some new staff, it covers many different areas, and it's actually quite a hard position to find someone to fill because there's so much to do.
Okay. So what according to you is multimedia journalism?
Do you mean what is the job, or what is the...
What do you think is multimedia journalism? Like specific multimedia and journalism?
Yeah, I think... Well, I think the aim of it is to take all the different aspects of traditional journalism and to merge them into more of a sort of a whole package, if you like. So, most of what we do is video, which is a bit more traditional. But I think a true multimedia journalism is something where you have lots of different media all converged in one place. So you'd have video and audio and photos and text and blogs and whatever else you might have in there, all in one place.
Okay, so what do you think, like, when did the evolution of this multimedia journalism happen?
The evolution, I mean, it's an ongoing process, and it's still, that's the exciting part, is that it's always changing. But we've been doing multimedia at the Age for about 5 or 6 years, which is quite a long time in terms of the industry. However, it's only really in the last year that it's come of age, if you like, and a lot of that is to do with the recognition of the internet across Australia and the uptake of that, especially at home, and also the speed of people's internet access. So if someone tried to watch our videos on a dial-up connection, they're gonna struggle. Now that that's come about, our statistics, our hits, have gone through the roof in the last year.
Okay. So what are the advantages of multimedia journalism?
I think the advantages of multimedia journalism are that it's a lot more dynamic and it's a lot more interactive. So instead of, and this is not to take away from traditional journalism, because I think it still has its place, but instead of just sitting down and reading a newspaper article or watching your TV at 6 o'clock to get the news, you have in one place you have all of that information, and it may appeal to someone because they like to pick and choose. So they might read a little bit of an article, maybe they get a bit bored, and so they go and watch some video, or they want to see some photos of an event which they don't, maybe there's only one photo in the newspaper, whereas we could include 30 pictures. So you've got a lot more flexibility to add in as much content as you want. Okay. And it draws in the skills of a media company, not just a newspaper, but the whole company. All those skills can be drawn into one central place.
Okay. So do you think, are there any limitations of this?
I think there are limitations of multimedia journalism, and we're particularly aware of it here because The Age has always been very proud of the quality of its journalism, and it's certainly, a lot of the traditional journalists are quite concerned that the speed and the immediacy of multimedia journalism can affect the quality of the content, whereas they may take 2 or 3 days to write an article, and something that's really in depth, 2,000 or 3,000 words. We never have that luxury, and any story that we do, it pretty much has to be done in 3 or 4 hours. And so there is a danger that things can be a bit more superficial.
Okay. So what, according to you, like, what does multimedia journalist need? What are the skills which are required in multimedia journalist?
I think a multimedia journalist has to have, it's quite a rare balance between the technical skills, the craft skills, and the journalistic skills, really, or the news sense. So we certainly couldn't employ someone who didn't know how to film and edit and was technically, just comfortable with computers, comfortable with microphones and being able to problem solve all that kind of technology, because things happen very fast. But at the same time, you could have someone that's had 30 years camera experience but has no journalistic experience and no interest in that either. So we don't necessarily, as a unit, there's 4 or 5 of us, and we're not necessarily traditionally trained journalists, but we're all from backgrounds such as a lot of my work prior to working for the Age is in documentary. So I have experience in interview techniques and being able to communicate well with people, and I think that is probably the most important part.
Okay, so according to you, a multimedia journalist is different and a general journalist is different. You mean to say that?
I think that a multimedia journalist is definitely a different, there's a different set of skills to a traditional journalist. Now there are traditional journalists here who are very good with multimedia and can transfer very easily. We also train some of the traditional journalists in multimedia skills, and some of them are very open to it, but as there is a difference in having to have that depth and experience of craft and production skills. You tend to find that people that are multimedia journalists have a lot more interest and ability in that way as well. Yeah.
Okay. So what new innovations are the Age introducing for multimedia?
Well, the Age is quite forward thinking in terms of its multimedia content, and it has a very strong position in the Australian market as a multimedia provider, and with the changes in media ownership, the Age has been shown its interest in investing heavily in multimedia. At the moment, especially in an election year, they're thinking about how we cover that as a topic, and it's quite a good example of what we're doing. So lots of traditional video, I say traditional, I mean obviously online video, lots of flash presentations, so things and that's where the real interactivity happens. We do quite a lot of that here. So they would be things which include video, but also include audio. They might have podcasts within them. They'll have links to text documents and stuff. So they're places where on any one subject